It appears that SafeMoon is 3D printing wind turbines. And the big question is, are they using this just for testing purposes, or is this actually going to be part of the equation on the bigger scale? Some very interesting finds on how this is being put together, and I will go ahead and explain more of that in just a second. Before I do, I want to say a quick special shout out thank you to our Patreon supporters. A double shout out thank you to Xavier Zamora, Victor, Troy Smothers, and 1010 Buns for being higher level patrons. If you'd like to join that for as little as $1 a month, there is a link down in the description. Also, you can become a YouTube member by clicking the join button down below. Thank you so much to our YouTube members. And we do have merch as well. There's more info on that down below. We have 9 days left. You can still get a 15% discount. There's t-shirts, mugs, mouse pads, teddy bears, lots of different things, different designs. And you guys can go check that out as well. Please keep in mind that I'm not a financial advisor. Everything I'm sharing is my own opinion. It's my own research. I highly encourage you to go do your own research. And with that being said, let's go ahead and get right on into the news. So in the Operation Pheonix video is where we got a lot more of the demo of what's going on right here. There's certain remarks that have come into play recently that ties in with the possibility of 3D printing. One of which was the remark here where he says, what if you could mint an NFT in both the metaverse and in real life? What if they symbiotically existed at the same time? I made a separate video already you guys can go check out, in which I touch on this about the value that really comes into play if you're able to buy the wind turbines as an investor and receive the NFT, get paid out in SafeMoon reflections, and how well that could actually scale up with everything and the time frames associated with that, with an example. So a very interesting video you should check out on that. Anyways, so if they are going to be doing 3D printing of these wind turbines, it could play into that decentralized element for sure. And then also Ford0415 on Twitter said, so no one is going to mention in the Pheonix video that SafeMoon was 3D printing the turbine blades with nylon powder, or how the stand of the turbines could literally become a cell tower / mesh network with how the blades are placed. When I covered this in my recent live stream on New Year's, I did touch on the fact of many different key things. I don't know if I remember mentioning about the nylon when I looked at the image itself. I was pointing out a lot of different specific stuff. We talked about 3D printing elements, and I just haven't made a video until right now. So I've also talked about months ago the opportunity where you have the different wind turbines. They could be part of the big mesh network and the relay points. So that's something I've discussed for quite a while now. Then Ford does go ahead and identify a couple key things here. The file on the top left, the print time on the top right, the material which shows you the nylon, the print bed with the file, and then he goes on even further right down here. He provides a link to Nylon 11, which is this article, Characterization of Nylon 11 Degradation, that just sort of identifies that capability with something for 3D printing, which is very interesting. So it looks like this is the proprietary stuff, more than likely, that John had been talking about recently. And to go even further into the video, look at this orange glow of this container. This sort of orange glow is also seen through Formlabs. And you might be asking, okay, well, that doesn't necessarily mean it's associated with it. A couple key things here is that this is used for 3D printing. You can also see the object in the middle right there. Very much looks like it could be on a 3D printed device. And then additionally is that if you look throughout the course of the video, there's one point on one of the screens. I don't remember specifically where it was. It might have been like during one of these scenes here, but we had to blow it up during the live stream and really just kind of trace over the lettering to identify what it was spelling. And it was 3 letters, and we were saying it was either like SFL or STL. So looking up STL files, it is associated with 3D printing. So the file type does match up with this as well. And in addition to it is that the Form Labs, you can see right here, there's a program that's being used. Look at the icons on the left, that orange button that's in the top, on the bottom left, followed by sort of a squarish icon in the right above it. Then you got a 3D printed model in blue in the middle. And then you also have the far right-hand side with the series of display menu options there on top of everything else. If you go to formlabs.com, you can see a preview image that looks like the same thing. You got the orange button in the top, on the left side on the bottom. Then you got the squarish icon right above it. And then you've also got that little menu just to the side of that, the bluish model in the middle, and then the far right-hand side menu as well. Further elaborating and confirming the fact that this is what they are using inside of the video, which is Form Labs for 3D printing of that little piece right here. And they're using the nylon, it looks like. Okay, so the nylon may not necessarily be involved with that one. That could potentially be a different piece. It's interesting also to make note of this design. Look at the curvature of that blade. That is not something that looks exactly the same, at least in my opinion, with the standard wind turbine demo that they're using right here. It looks fairly close. There's a little bit of a slip that's going on there. It could potentially have been a partial mold. It looks like a scaled down model, if you ask me in my opinion on that as well. But this is very interesting. So a member of our community, Engine, at Crypto Engine on Twitter, aka 1010 Buns, one of the supporters on the channel. You guys heard me mention about my Patreon earlier. So they were inside, I don't know if it's a girl or a guy, they were inside of my live stream when we were discussing all of this. They sent me over this information, so I do want to give them proper credit for compiling these notes and sending over to us as well. And so what they had said is with this graphic image right here that you saw inside the video, that 3D printers / rapid prototype manufacturing, that was something that was discussed inside the video. And then the Formlabs 3D printing software, that's something that we did touch on. I don't know if I found, anyways, somebody found it. It might have been them at the time. And they sent me all of this stuff at one point, like just boom, 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 boom together. So then you also have DLP 3D printers. You have this right here, which we were talking about in the video, that very interesting shape. They said this shape has to do with laminar flow control. There's some more detailed information on that. The blade being tested has to do with the nanoparticles SafeMoon has been talking about, which is why they were using snow or rain when they were blowing the blade. They were testing the nanohydroparticles or whatever. The reason it's shaped differently is because that shape has significance when it comes to laminar flow control. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. You have the boundary layer edge, potential flow, streamline, which is where everything's getting pushed off across the top with the wing surface, free stream velocity, sweep angles, cross flow vortex. This is a lot of science stuff, obviously, guys. You can see the conventional where it's blowing across the top, NLF, LFC, the suction areas right here, laminar flow, turbulent flow being identified on that as well. And this is something that can be seen as we have the wind being blown across the actual piece itself right there. So then we can go into a slow-mo element, which is being more demonstrated in this kind of instance where you're seeing everything's just flowing over very smoothly. So it looks like the application of the hydrophobic and the hydrophilic particles is helping with some of that displacement going across. A lot of engineers that are watching this are going to be able to understand those elements much better. I'm just trying to give you guys a baseline of what we have being presented and hopefully a good starting point to point you in other directions for things. So let me see. Was there anything else here? Research. Okay. And yeah, then that tweet, as I mentioned, was suggesting that it's being tied over with the 3D printed models. And lastly is they touched by saying they're reinventing the wheel or reinventing windmills or wind turbines. I think that's a pretty good justification there. So this is some of the stuff that looks like it's proprietary of what they've been developing with this. Some very, very interesting ways of it being put together. I'm curious to know what you guys think about this. So tell us in the comments down below. And do you think that this is going to be smaller scaled models, that it's going to be like very small? Do you think that they're going to have it be about the same size as what they were showing with those other wind turbines? Do you think this has some sort of a play that's also going, like the wind turbines themselves, with a video game, with a decentralized based video game, with a sort of augmented reality type aspect or mining mechanisms that goes into the virtual game for the metaverse where it's generating from the real life wind turbines into the game? What do you guys think? Let us know in the comments. We do have referral links if you want to get free cryptocurrency or free stock. Once again, I am not a financial advisor and this is not financial advice. And if you're new to the channel, do not forget to hit subscribe. We're on the road to 20K. Would love for you guys to be a part of that experience. And also click the thumbs up like button. It helps us out with the YouTube search algorithm. Click the bell icon so you know whenever we go live. And I will see you in the next episode.